Back at Wisconsin Dells High School, and well, Bob, that was definitely what you would term an exciting ball game. Chiefs all the way down to the last second of the game with a shot at it. Couldn't get a good shot off, however, underneath, and it ends up Nekoosa with a 2-point win, 34-32, and they go to 2-1 on the year. The Chiefs go to 1-2 on the year, and of course Nekoosa with that conference win. But I guess all in all, it was one of those just games that. Mistakes on both teams. Neither team shot exceptionally well at all, but it was an exciting ball game.
Yes, it was. And boy, if we would have scored on that last possession, would the people from Nekoosa have raised fits? You know, referees are only human, but it certainly looked like we caught a break on that last call. But we also possibly lost a call earlier. The ball was given to Nekoosa. So certainly we had the opportunity there to tie the game, put it into overtime. Certainly we're never going to try a three-pointer in that situation, but at that point, you know, we had two of our starters on the bench having fallen out. Maybe the one we missed most was Heather Conray when we needed to score underneath.
Underneath the basket, she's kind of that bulwark underneath the basket, like you said, and stuff. But it goes as a Nekoosa win, 34-32, an exciting game, as we said. Nekoosa and the Dells both had a lot of players that scored tonight. Taking a quick look at the scoring totals here tonight. For Nekoosa first, the Papermakers, the winners. DeMars had 4. Sullivan had 5. She was their ball handler, too, handled the ball really well. Linsmeyer underneath was a force in that second half, Bob, and a couple of times there wasn't even a Chief even close to her underneath, and she started putting those baskets in. She ended up with double figures tonight, 12 points. Sorbo had 6 for them. Wills had 7, a couple of big baskets, so like you were talking, Bob, at the break, and a big steal for them also. Olsen Weiler also had a big steal, and with her one basket of the night, too, that steal, and she ran it all the way in, and she ended up with 2 points. For the Chiefs, Abby Delmore, senior guard, had 8 points, 2 big three-point plays tonight for Abby at important times. Heather Conroy had 6 in the first half, didn't score in the second half, had a lot of hard time in foul trouble, and they were double-teaming her a lot underneath and making it much more difficult for her to get inside to the basket. Stowers tonight with 5 points, had to sit down a lot of minutes because of those fouls, as you said, but had a huge three-point play in the fourth quarter. Tess Meigelbus last Saturday had a big game offensively. Tonight, 1 basket, and we had a little shortage there. You want a little more offensive performance from Tess. I think the Chiefs are going to count on her to score some more. But tonight, an off night for Tess. She ends up with 2. Jordan Hickey with a big basket in there at one point, and a chance for a three-point play. Didn't make it, but she ended up with 4 points and 2 big baskets, a sophomore. And Shannon Gavinsky, the freshman, had a couple of really nice baskets there tonight, and she ended up with 5 points also. So that's how the Dells scoring ran. Time now, of course, to take a look at the local points turning point of the game, Bob. And the all-new Local Point has a delicious Friday night fish fry. They got Saturday steaks. Everything's made from scratch out there. I know you've eaten out there, Bob, so it's really good.
Oh, the smothered chicken was delicious.
Is that what you want to have?
Oh, that was
Bob
sweet.
Blaski tells you to go have the smothered chicken. Located at the Old Aces Supper Club. They're just minutes from downtown Dells and Highway 12 and 16. Great food, great fun. Kind of hard, Bob, to choose, but you get to make the pick.
Well, the start of the second half, they came out pressing again, and they beat us on 2 or 3 possessions in a row. In my opinion, that was the turning point of the game. I think you talked about it last week, that the press is kind of a lost art. They saved it for key possessions, key points in the game, and to start off the third quarter there to press us again and get back out front, we just never recovered.
So that's the Local Points turning point of the game, and we'll also want to take a look at the Shields Fireplace Hearth and Home hot hand of the game. And of course, Shields Fireplace Hearth and Home is open on Highway 12 in Baraboo. They're going to keep you warm, and boy, you're going to want to stay warm this winter. So check out their current rebates and specials on the net at shieldsfireside.com. And Bob, hot hand of the game tonight?
Well, last week we were able to give it to a Chief. I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. I think we got to give it to Linsmeyer from the Papermakers. She came up 12 points, was the only player on either bench to reach double-digit scoring, and so in my opinion, she's the Shields' hot hand of the game.
And had a couple of really big buckets in that fourth quarter. You know, you have to remember this was a 1-point game going into the fourth quarter. Ended up a 2-point game, but there was a stretch there that it looked like the Papermakers, and give the Chiefs a lot of credit, it looked like the Papermakers were going to maybe walk away with it. They had gotten the lead to 9 points, and the Chiefs, with some aggressive defense and a couple of key baskets, came back in the ball game and actually had a chance to tie the game or win it here with just a few seconds left. But again, once again, the final score is 34-32. Our next game.
Yeah, and one other thing, the Sylvan play of the game, she only scored 1 bucket. But again, I think we have to give that to a Papermaker in the...
You're probably thinking Wills with the big basket, or Wilson Wow with the steal.
The steal in the basket, you know, that when it ends up being a 1-possession game and a 2-point win, that was a big play down the stretch.
And you can always watch the Sylvan play of the game on DellsTV.com. Watch it as many times as you'd want to. Our next game we're going to switch over. We'll be checking the boys out next week, Bob, as the Chiefs host Baraboo. Always a great rivalry. It goes back many, many, many decades.
They started playing Baraboo back in the 30s already in basketball. Of course, here in Wisconsin Dells, we were called Kilbourne City back then. We didn't have basketball when we had football because we had no gymnasium. And so they had to wait till the school was remodeled. I believe it was 1930, and then the following season they started boys basketball here in the Dells.
Well, see, that's about 75 years of a rivalry. That's a good one to have.
Yes,
so we'll have that Tuesday night.
It's a Division I school, so it's close former conference opponents. These boys play a lot in summer play. Tournaments. Last year they got the best of us in the season opener, so I know these boys would like nothing better to go down there or to host them here this year and turn the tide. And
over the years there have been some great games between those two teams. So final score once again here tonight, the Lady Chiefs fall by 2 to Nekoosa, 34-32. For Bob Blasky, I'm Bob Van Gendren. Thanks for joining us for Chiefs Basketball on DellsTV.com. Join us next time, and we'll leave you with the Supreme Awards Honor Roll.
It's a big possession for the Chiefs, Bob. We got to get some points here.
They'd like to get a bucket here. They've had a hard time here in the second half doing much. They've only put up 6 points in the entire second half. That pass is taken away and stolen by Nekoosa. Going to the basket, puts it up and scores. So Olsen Wiley, who just got called for the foul, makes the steal and takes it in all by herself, and the Chiefs need a timeout. 29-22, Nekoosa up by 7. We'll be back with the final 6:44 in this ball game. You're watching Chiefs basketball on DellsTV.com.